Hi there, welcome to Aqua Luna 73. This isn't a reading, it's actually just a video. I decided, I was like contemplating whether I should do this for a very long time. And I even, the cards, I even put these two cards aside for a long time because I wanted to discuss these two cards, these two specific cards. Okay, so I apologize for any background noise. I don't know how long this is going to take, okay? If the video is going to be in two parts, I will make this a part 1, part 2, part 3, because I've noticed that if the video cuts off when it comes to a certain amount of minutes, okay? And then it goes and starts again. So I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to do the video in 2 or 3 parts, and this video is just for people that are interested in the subject, so I'm not obligating anyone to watch this. It's just something that I felt that I needed to talk about, and the subject is fear of death. Okay, it's our fear of death as people, as humans, as a species. I don't only think that we are the only species here on earth that fears death. Other animals also fear death. So the subject, it's a very heavy subject, and that's why I've been avoiding it for such a long time, possibly, because I understand that it's a very heavy subject. I even got the death card and the devil card here. So I'm not actually knowing if I'm going to post this video or not. So I'm just going with the flow and see where this is going, okay? And anybody that's interested in watching this video, just go with me on this, because I'm not sure where this is going to end up, because this is something that I need to understand myself, is our fear of death. And the conclusion, or my own philosophy surrounding this, is one of our hugest, like I said, always in readings, our attachment and aversion is what's causing us suffering, okay? So, if our attachment and aversion is the causes of our suffering, if our attachment and aversion is the cause of our suffering, that means we have an attachment to life itself. That's why we fear death, okay? We have attachment to life itself. That's why we fear death. So I'm going to ask myself, why are we so attached to life? If Because I think the reason is, we still, even if you are a religious person or non-religious, regardless, even a religious person, even their faith is sometimes not enough to convince them that there is life after death. Okay, so even they have this fear that there is that there might not be the possibility of life after death. And the reason why we fear and cling on to life, so life is our ultimate attachment, okay? And that's why we as humans fear death, and we will do anything to stay alive, even hurt other people to stay alive. This is how attached we are as humans to life, okay? I'm asking sincerely that we as humans, or the people that watch this channel, sincerely contemplate and start questioning themselves about these things. Okay? Religion, I want people to put religion aside for just a little while, so that we can just discuss this and understand this concept and understand where this fear is coming from. And I think the biggest reason, I think the biggest thing behind this fear is the fact that is the fear of the unknown, is the fact that we don't actually know. Okay, it's just people that tell us things, but we don't have any actual proof of an afterlife. Okay, and it's just purely speculation uh, um, when people tell you that there's a heaven, that there's a hell, that there's or for instance, atheists might tell you that there is no such thing. Okay, you just die and you cease to exist. And other spiritual people will tell you, okay, you don't cease to exist. The earth absorb you and you become dust and one with the earth again, and then you get reincarnated into something else, like for instance an animal or a flower or whatever. Okay, um, so different religions, different perspectives, different spiritual practices have different views about this. Okay, so even me, I have my own views, but at the end of the day, we're all just speculating. We're just all speculating. We don't have any actual proof. But I think as time progresses and humans evolve, we will understand and develop a better understanding of these things, especially when spirituality and science start to combine, which I think is very important to understand these concepts of the afterlife, the existence of one or the non-existence of one, etc., etc. Okay, I'm digressing here. So I'm just going to read here. It says 47, fear of death. So I'm just going to read here what it says, okay? Fear of death qualities, anxiety and depression. This zigzag image symbolizes Abhinivisha as an obstacle along the path. Okay? As an obstacle along the path. It contains black, white and grey. They represent chakras, wheels of light, in the throat and third eye center, a place of all colors and the absence of color. Abhinivyesha, or the will to love, is the ultimate attachment. They just said it. The will to love is the ultimate attachment that we as humans have. And we will do anything in our power to stay alive. Okay? That's why we um that's why we don't understand where some people come from when they reason about mercy deaths, possibly. For instance, people who have illnesses like terminal illnesses and they know they're going to eventually die and they want to die sooner because they are suffering, and then other people want to decide for these people what they get to do with their body, which I feel is invasive also. Okay, like extremely. It's basically the same concept of when it boils down to, and okay, this is very controversial subject. Okay, so in my opinion, this is my opinion, you don't have to take my opinion. My opinion is, if you um, if you place this decision of yours on the person, when a person approaches somebody else and say, listen, I have a terminal illness, I want to die sooner because I'm suffering, I'm having a lot of pain, and you tell this person, no, uh, you can't do that, I'm going to court, take you to court, and I'm going to decide whether you get to live or die. Even people who want to actually just in their life, like for instance suicide, in some cases people are actually reaching out for help and asking for help, and there are actually signs that these people don't actually want to die. Okay, but they are actually people who want to cease to exist. Okay, and not because of only depression or anxiety, etc., but because these people maybe have another perception or a concept that we don't have about death and rebirth and reincarnation and life after death, etc. And now we want to dismiss these people and their opinion because we consider it as controversial and going against the grain or norm of society. Okay, Actually forcing someone to take a life and actually someone choosing to take their own life is two different things. And I feel we should really reconsider these things and actually start looking at it from another perspective. Okay, I don't feel that everybody who feels that they want to commit suicide is not necessarily uh, does necessarily have anxiety or depression. It could just be, I don't know. Okay, if you look at it, I don't have the answers to everything. I just feel this is something that we need to reconsider, need to reevaluate, because if our attachment, our ultimate attachment is to life, okay, we as humans, our ultimate attachment is to life. It says here, and I believe that with all my heart as well. Because why would we be, our survival instinct is to such an extent that we would do anything in our power to make sure that we stay alive. Okay? We cannot deny that we don't have that carnal instinct within ourselves. So that carnal instinct is so strong to stay alive that we even want to impose this instinct on others and tell them, okay, when they decide, I don't want to be here, okay, no, but I get to decide whether you want to be here or not. Okay, which I feel is also imposing it's like taking away this person's freedom to choose for themselves. Okay, this is taking away a person's freedom to choose for themselves. And because at the end of the day, you are protecting your interest, because it makes you feel uncomfortable. You're not thinking about the person that's actually going through the situation or the experience, etc. So I don't know if other people have this perception about death, okay, like I do, or this view, not perception, but this view or opinion. But I really feel that we need to reconsider these things and discuss it and analyze it to a great extent. Anyway, I'm going to just read again. Okay, Abhinivesha is a place of all color and the absence of color. Abhinivesha, or the will to love, is the ultimate attachment, the attachment to life itself. Fear of death is an experience shared by most people. Everything is temporary, even your body and even your life. Okay, Yoga Sutra, clinging to life, flowing by with its own potency due to past experiences, exists even in the wise. And this is something that you have to realize. You can be, I think I already spoke about this in a reading. And I told you that even the wisest people in the world have fears. And they also secretly nurse these fears in the privacy of their homes. Even the most sane people have fears, okay? And to think that we don't have, or that other people don't have fears, it's just, it's not normal to reason that way, because everybody has them, okay? Even the wise is like they say here, okay? And then further on it says reflections. How would you live today if you knew it would be your last day? Everyone you know, including yourself, will pass away. Develop an appreciation for the ever-changing nature of the world. Affirmation: inhale love, exhale fear. Okay? Inhale love, inhale understanding. Like I explained to you, my conclusion or philosophy is love is to me understanding things. And if you understand things, you'll have lesser judgment of things. And exhale fear. Fear is the opposite of love, the opposite of understanding. It's a closed off, I would consider it as a closed off ego, or not a closed off ego, closed off person. Okay, I would say, if you could say the opposite of love is if love is understanding, what is the opposite of understanding? Misunderstanding someone. So if you're misunderstanding someone, you're obviously not communicating well with this person, or you don't understand something very well. So I think it's very important that we start to really just come to a place of a meditational state. I think this is where we need to go as humans, is a meditational state regarding these things, and really, really psychoanalyze these things. And not only from a mental perspective, but from a spiritual and a heart perspective, so that we also can develop compassion for these things, okay? And in the same breath, I also want to add, for the videos that I've watched online, I don't know if you Ian McKenna, but he is he's a scientist, and he's also someone that's an avid supporter of psychedelics being used to help people transition to the last phase in life, when they know, for instance, people have terminal illnesses. They have programs in place overseas, okay, where they give people psychedelics and in a controlled environment under the supervision of psychologists and psychiatrists, and they play appropriate music, and they help these people ease into a transition to make them less fearful of death, because psychedelics have the ability to open certain pathways in your brain, okay, neural pathways in your brain that would actually be dormant, so that you understand the other side of life better, so that you can create an understanding of the other side of life, and so that you have a lesser fear of it. I don't think I need to do a second. I just want to, let's just see here what it says about the death card. Okay. I think I said everything that I needed to say. I also think Abhiniversha also goes with anxiety and depression. And anxiety and depression goes with something that is accompanied with fear, because you don't understand something. And if you develop understanding of something, you will be less fearful of it, okay? Because knowledge is power. You have to understand this. Knowledge is power. Okay, death card. I just want to see what the death card. Death card. Wow, where are you? I want to see the clinical description of the death card in the booklet. Excuse me. Let's see if I can find it quickly. How long is this video? Okay, there's still time left. If I can find it. Oh my gosh. Why is it so difficult today? Okay, it's almost there. Almost there. What am I missing here? Where's the death card? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, the death card, it's mortality, destruction, corruption. And the reversed meaning is inertia, sleep, lethargy, or petrifaction. Petrifaction. Oh my gosh, I cannot pronounce that word, and I'm not going to. But I think you get the picture, okay, of what I'm trying to tell you. So that's just the booklet of death. But death is also rebirth. And if death symbolizes rebirth, there possibly is something that we don't know about. But I also want to bring it to your attention. Our different perspectives, or our different societal traditional conditioning, okay, is going to be different for everybody when it comes to these things, because this has a huge impact on how you see death, and your fear of death, and a spirituality or religion, etc. All those things play a role in how you see things. And I also want to mention that there's this book. I haven't read the book yet. I really want to read the book, but I'm bringing this up because I watched a documentary on a woman. She is a doctor, a qualified. She's a scientist. I can't remember what type of doctor she is, but she had a brother, elder brother, died at the age of 60. He was ran over by a car, but he was a drug addict. Okay, and he had a very like a life where he just did what he wanted to do. He was like a rebel. Okay, and he was high on I don't know exactly what type of drug he used, but when he died. So the story, basically the book is about his sister. She is not a believer of any religious. I don't know exactly what it is, but she gets visitations, basically, according to her, from him. He talks to her about the other afterlife and tries to communicate to her what it's like, and that it's nothing at all the way that we were taught it was. For instance, like in religion wise, etc. So the book's name is Belly Fingers. Okay, it's something about belly fingers. Just go Google it. I don't know why they called him Belly Fingers. Okay, but it's about belly fingers. This is like probably a nickname that they gave him. And he used to push drugs as well. Okay, I think he sold drugs as well. But that being said, I just suggest you go read the book, because at the end of the day she started being skeptical because she wasn't unsure that it was him communicating with her, and she started asking you to give her proof, and he actually did, which is uncanny because I don't haven't read the book yet, so I still have to. But anyway, maybe you should go read that book. And anyway, I think this is it. I think I said everything that I needed to say. There is nothing that I can add, except one thing possibly just that I want to add extra is the part about that I want to lay emphasis on, and possibly why I brought up the subject is our constant avoidance of the subject, and how we don't want to face it. Especially, I think it's very important that we face it now, especially with how things are going, and we start developing a better understanding around death and rebirth, and not only take our own linear perception on how we were brought up societally, on how we see death and rebirth and life after death, etc., etc. Okay, so we need to reevaluate and look at it from a new perspective, and walk away from things that, I mean, even science is evolving. Science is seeing things like discovering possible parallel universes, other universes, and you still want to cling to the idea of of death and rebirth because of the way you were brought up societally. Okay, not considering that continuously science is a continuous, ever changing, evolutionary thing where it is open to obviously be proven wrong. Okay, which this is why I love science. It's very flexible, because if one scientist can say this one thing and then another scientist come proves him wrong and says no, this is how it is, and nobody's going to be mad about it because everybody learned. And this is what I'm trying to place emphasis on, is our linear perception and approach that we have. This is the way things are, this is the way things always was. I'm not opening up to new things. I'm not opening up to new experiences or learning new things, and that's it. Okay, you have to understand, if you cannot evolve, you cannot survive. Okay, and even evolution Evolution also speaks about survival, okay? Survival of the species. And here it also boils down to fear of death, possibly. You see how deep the subject goes, how intensely deep the subject can go, okay? Because evolution is actually a means to stay alive if we evolve. Evolution is a means to stay alive, a means for our species to stay alive. But we as humans cannot evolve just in a way like physically. We have to evolve mentally because our brain is our biggest asset. I firmly believe that. You cannot work on your body, you have to work on your brain as well. It's so extremely important. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to digress. I think this is enough. I'm not going to make a second video. This is just a short discussion. Feel free to go do your own research, etc. regarding these things. This is just my opinion. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. Haven't had time, but was also reluctant to do it because I know certain people are going to take offense by what I say. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.